Decades ago in Hong Kong, people who have committed severe crimes like murder, treason, and violent privacy would be put under capital punishment. Following other countries, especially United Kingdom, Hong Kong made a major improvement to its judicial system when death penalty was abolished. Still many countries, like United States, China and Singapore etc., have not followed the prevailing trend. In the mid-90s, Amnesty International and its branch in Hong Kong started the Abolish Death Penalty group, and in 2014, Amnesty International Hong Kong held different inspirational events in Hong Kong to evoke the general public's reflection and thinking on death penalty, and it has made remarkable contribution. With great concern and controversy towards death penalty and globalization, we think it is the time for the world to think if death penalty is still an applicable and beneficial practice in contemporary society and whether it should be abolished.
Now let us discuss the impact on society. The society is mainly divided into two parts with respect to this problem, whether it's to respect the individual or provide retribution to the victims. Let us discuss this topic further. The current ideology of capital punishment says that all guilty people deserve to be punished and should be punished based on the severity of their crime. But as we know, this ideology is flawed. So now let us look at the problem of death penalty from a societal perspective. It is often argued that death penalty provides closure for victims and their family. But this is rather a flimsy argument, as some families do not feel that another death would provide closure. This argument does not provide justification. The Japanese have a different societal perspective. They believe that having these kind of laws say that bad things happen to bad people and good things happen to good people. This is a very wrong way and a consequential ideology to keep the population happy. Capital punishment brutalizes society. Statistics show that death penalty increases the murder rates. It changes the relationship between the citizens and the state. And furthermore, it changes the law. People feel that death penalty is inappropriate in modern civilized society to respond to the most dreadful crimes.
Why do we have death penalty? Many countries suggest retaining death penalty for its symbolic deterring importance to crime, to pacify mass anger, and to manifest social justice and to avenge the victim and his family. Death penalty feels like a just move, but is it really just? Psychology tells us the answer is no, because death penalty causes vicious psychological trauma to the inmate and his or her family. Knowing death is imminent and under isolation, it's likely that inmate will experience some powerful psychological trauma, which may lead to guilt, anxiety, fear, powerlessness, loneliness, passivity, apathy, decay, or even suicidal thoughts, depression, or other psychological disorders and helpless behavior. Even they are going to be executed, their human rights and health before the death should be respected. It's not because they are going to die and we can ignore the great distress, hopelessness, isolation, and fear and the dysfunctioning caused by death penalty. For the innocent family of the inmate, if their beloved one is dead, they will likely to experience anticipatory grief and disenfranchised grief. Anticipatory grief means the feeling of loss and grief starts before the actual death, which is common for those with incurable illness like cancer, but also true for death row inmates. Early-started grief will not reduce the grief after the actual death just because they have more time to absorb, but actually prolong the grief, especially when the grief is disenfranchised. The death row inmates is often portrayed as so malicious that we cannot even think of their people that love them, and the families suffer from isolation and stigmatization from the society, where like being discriminated and mocked. The need for support in the community, like counseling and help, may also be often neglected, which hinders their recovery. In accordance with the 5 stages loss and grief, the normal functioning of family members of the death row inmates will actually be disrupted before the actual death, and it will be more difficult to go through dialogue, bargaining, and acceptance stage to reach and tell others due to social isolation and stigmatization, which means leading to a greatly extended grief and malfunctioning. Death penalty is very negative to the death row inmates and their close ones psychologically, especially when it may bring long-term harmful legacy. Committing serious crimes, harming or killing someone already bring great grief to the victims and families. There's no need to double the grief for the inmates or his or her innocent family, with death penalty as retribution.
Created using Powtoon.